Hello YouTube, this is the Pokemon Man Skyfire, and I am bringing you a Pokemon 4th generation Wi-Fi battle video. I am playing Platinum in this one, and the battle is against Wars from the Pokemon Wi-Fi realm on Zod.com. This team, well, is kind of a little mixed up because I am seeing Weavile and Glaceon, but I also see a Porygon Z in there, and that Porygon Z wasn't what I expected. It's usually max speed and max special attack. This one was a little different because as I bring in Skycatcher, which is my Togekiss, I am going to get the Air Slash off, hoping for the flinch to come in. It did not, and he goes for a Trick Room, which is a little bit iffy, but then I also saw Rampardos in the team, so it kind of made me think that even if I do defeat the Porygon Z, that the Rampardos was probably going to be the next Pokemon that comes up, and I have something to wait for that. So after the Trick Room uses Charge Beam to get a boost in special attack, but the only problem was that Skycatcher stayed alive. It's gonna go for the Aura Spear, and apparently since the Air Slash did a lot, the super effective move of the Aura Spear is going to KO the Porygon Z. So I'm already at a start at 1-0. I'm 1, that's what I'm trying to say. But what I figured is going to be a tie because I already figured that the Rampardos is going to come out. The other way that I was going to escape that Rampardos is if the Stone Edge, which I figured that was going to be the move used, would miss. It did not, as it's going to be an easy KO on Skycatcher, so we're now even a piece at 5 up, so I had to figure I had to do a little something different, which I did, hence bringing in Carpenter, which is my Luxray. What Carpenter's going to do is going to lower that attack of Rampardos down to -1. And that was going to be very important because that leads the Stone Edge to be not as strong, even though it is stabbed. It at least keeps Carpenter alive long enough for him to do the superpower. And thank goodness that Rampardos doesn't have any defense, or special defense for that matter. Because again, Rampardos is a glass cannon, and the superpower from Luxray is going to one-hit KO the Rampardos. Even though my attack and defense is going to go down 1, but at least I got the Rampardos out of there. The only other Pokemon that I might have a problem with would be that Heracross, and surprisingly enough, he did bring it in. And instead of going for something like Exeter, which would have been a little better, it goes for Rock Tomb, which surprisingly keeps Carpenter alive with 6 HP. And I was hoping that a use of the Spark, even though it might not do much against Heracross because of my -1 attack, I was hoping that it was going to paralyze. It did. So I just figured I was going to let Carpenter be Death Spot. It only has 6 HP, and thank goodness the crit came at that time because who knows if I was switching something to Brick Break, probably would have one-hit KO'd something because of the crit. So I'm going to bring in Heritage, I'm going to do another Intimidate, and now that Heracross is down to -1 attack. So what I do, I go for a Calm Mind because I already knew that I was going to get a boost in special attack and special defense, and I already knew that Heracross was going to do Brick Break. The reason why I say it is, not only is it -1 attack, but I'm also using a Chapel Berry, which shouldn't take Stantler down under 50%. And I predicted that right, so I go ahead and go for the extra sensory, and that will be a KO on the Heracross. So I was figuring myself things are gonna get a little better. So Electivire comes in, and I'm again hoping that something will put the Electivire down to under half, or even one-hit KO if it gets a crit, but it didn't even come close. I got it now to under half. No, I got close. I got to close in half, and lowered the special defense, but it comes up with the light screen. That's going to be a little bit of a problem because Shadow Ball probably would have been a one-hit KO if, and I mean if, he didn't use that light screen. He does go for the Thunder Punch, and that is unfortunately going to be a KO on the Stantler. This is pretty much a back and forth type battle. So with Temperance coming out, which is my Pinsir, I go for the Sword Stance, probably predicting the switch, but surprisingly enough, here comes Fire Punch, and that goofs up a little bit for Pinsir because I was hoping that Pinsir is going to be able to KO at least the next two Pokemon, but now I gotta use that Sash. Thank goodness for that Sash, because that crit again probably would have KO'd Pinsir if I didn't have that Sash. I didn't want to show the Earthquake, so I went for the X Scissor, and I still get the KO on the Electivire, but Weavile comes in, and apparently it's obvious that Ice Shard is going to come out, so I just figured myself, just let it be, and have the Death Spotter on Pinsir, because I already figured Ice Shard. So now, with that in mind, I'm going to bring in Dixolito, and I'm going to do the safe play of the U-turn, because I don't think that Weavile could do Night Slash, and it already knows that Ice Shard probably won't do much. I did the U-turn, it does a lot, and it made me think maybe I should have used Cross Chop, but I decided not, because I know that Ice Shard won't do much against Erie, which is my Feraligatr, which is switched up into after the U-turn. So, he goes for a Slash first, which didn't take much. He goes for the Ice Shard next, and it only takes 26 points of damage. So, I figured to myself, why don't I go ahead and go for the Waterfall? I would have did a Dragon Dance, but I didn't think it had much to deal with a Feraligatr, so I just go ahead and went for the Waterfall. So his last Pokemon is Glaceon, and I'm gonna say that maybe I should have did Dragon Dance, but I think that was doing good enough with the Waterfall. It goes for a Shadow Ball, and I was knowing that Glaceon does have high special attack, but it didn't do as much as I thought. So I figured I was safe to use the Waterfall the rest of the time, because even if Glaceon does defeat Erie, I still have another Pokemon that could defeat it. The second Waterfall didn't make it flinch, so I pretty much have to say good game now, because the third Waterfall will KO the Glaceon, and that is good game 2 wars on that one. So this was a pretty back and forth battle. I really didn't expect the Electivire to have Fire Punch. I would usually think that against ground types, I would think that Ice Punch would be, but then of course it might have that too. So I had to be on the safe play with the Pinsir to try at least get that Electivire out, but I guess Pinsir did anyway, even though I had to use the Sash. And I didn't expect Trick Room, because usually Porygon Z would be faster, but I also knew Rampardos would be in there since of its low defenses, so maybe Trick Room was somewhere in there. I just didn't expect it to be with Porygon Z. Well, again, good game, the wars, and it was a very, very fun battle. Rate, comment, subscribe, give me a like if you like it. This is the Pokemon Man Skyfire, and have a nice day, and I'll see you for another battle next time.